Chapter 19. I'll See You on the Dark Side of the Moon. Tuesday, January 2nd, 1990. Well, diary, you wanted details. Sid and I are going out. It's the most incredible feeling. I've never felt this way about anyone before. I always thought I was weird because I didn't know what it felt like to love someone, and now I finally do. It's incredible. I don't even feel afraid at the thought of being alone with him for dinner. Wednesday, January 3rd, 1990. Dinner at Sid's was great. He gave me 5 beautiful white carnations. He really is amazing. I love him so much. Wednesday, January 24th, 1990. Sid and I have been going out for 3 weeks yesterday. I love him so much. The problem that he has is a tumor. He's going to have an operation in 3 weeks. I'm worried about him. Thursday, February 22nd, 1990. Things didn't go well today at all. Missed Sid horribly at school. Went in and saw Sid. He hugged me in a frantic grip and told me the tumor is malignant. He might have cancer. He broke down and cried. I held him, and the whole time I didn't shed a tear. I was strong. I told him he'd be fine. I made him promise to get well. Thursday, March 1st, 1990. Sid has cancer. The doctors say there's a good chance he'll survive. He has to get chemotherapy and radiation treatments. I'm so afraid. So damn afraid for him. I put on Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb after I got off the phone with him and cried till I thought I'd burst. Why does this happen to good people? Good people who are sweet and smart and honest and loving and generous and considerate aren't supposed to get sick. Sometimes life can be so cruel. Sunday, April 8th, 1990. I didn't think that life was supposed to be hell like this. It was too perfect though, I guess. I'd found a perfect guy who loved me just as much as I loved him. We planned to get married. What did I do to deserve him? Nothing. I guess they changed their minds. Sunday, June 9th, 1991. Maybe I'm dying. I feel like I'm completely falling apart mentally and physically. That stupid black cloud is trying to come back over me, and I don't know why. I keep coughing and feeling like shit lately. I don't feel happy with my parents lately. My dad has betrayed me. Sid just thinks I'm a big complainer, and everyone else thinks I'm a grouch. When I look in the mirror, I feel I am the picture of physical disgustingness, all fat and rolly and stretch marks. I'm sick of being weak and crying all the time. I hate my guts. Nobody really cares. Nobody is interested. Nobody really wants to listen, so I'll just talk to you. I can picture all of my internal organs beginning to cave in because they're all soft and rotted and squishy. My lungs are choked and clogged with a thick, sticky mucus, and my heart is encased in gelatin fat. I shall keep you posted. May 28th, 1992. Well, diary, it has been 3 weeks since Sid died, and I have been doing well. I don't cry in front of anyone, and I'm brave. Everyone is so proud of and impressed with me. They have no idea how heartbroken I am. I miss Sid so much. I have no one to talk to. I feel so completely alone. Of course, I will probably be lonely for the rest of my life, and sometimes I can deal with that. But nights are always so difficult. August 5th, 1992. I can see it so clearly. I swallow a huge handful of sleeping pills, lie down in my bed, hug my teddy bear, pull my blankets up around my ears, and gently rock into sleep. I wouldn't have to worry about anything. Love, money, life, loneliness, and I could be with Sid again. Of course, I'd let my family know how I love them, and then I'd just sleep forever. Sid would be waiting for me with open arms and say, "Don't cry. You're here with me now. I'll protect you." Death is starting to sound so peaceful. I'm sick of work. I'm so sick of life. I want to die. December 2024. Let me tell you a story. When I was 17, late in grade 11, some new friends came into our friend group. One of these friends was Sid. He was a really nice guy, loved rock and roll and heavy metal, and really loved Pink Floyd. He was extremely smart, a bit on the quiet side, good height, nice looking. In grade 12, I was sucking so hard in math. My midterm mark was atrocious, and Mom got fairly pissed when she saw it. I did not understand factoring, at all. It was like the numbers were being pulled out of the magical ethers with no rhyme or reason as to how one came to those answers. I mean, I was a words person, and math was often a struggle all through school. Sid offered to try to help tutor me. He was great at math, thought factoring was easy, and figured he could surely help me understand it. I have a memory burned into my brain forever. Sitting at my kitchen table, with my textbook, paper, etc., and the homework I was supposed to work through. What I can picture most of all is the quiet, super concentrating look on Sid's face as he looked at the problem in the book and was thinking extremely hard about how he could find some way to re-explain it to me. Because he had already tried, and I did not get it. I'll remember that forever. His face, slightly frowning at the question in that book, still pleasant somehow. That look of someone who has hit a complete wall and is now at a loss as to how to bring any clarity to my mathless self. I think I like that memory best of all. His complexion was good. He still had hair. Everything hadn't gone down the tubes yet. In the fall of grade 12, a friend told me that Sid liked me. I was horrified. Funny thing, isn't it? A girl expends so much damn energy mooning and pining for a boyfriend, and then that happens and I was freaked? Funny when it's a surprise and seems to have come out of nowhere. He did ask me out not long after that, and I swiftly friend-zoned him. And he was nice about it, wasn't mad, didn't act weird toward me or anything. The friend group kept hanging out as usual. In this quiet space of no pressure, I guess I started to feel safe enough to let him into my heart a little at a time. I started to think about him a lot. One night, maybe during the Christmas break, my friends and I all met up to go ice skating. It was an outdoor rink. It was a very cold winter night. Snow falling. Very pretty. We were all having a great time. I don't know, I just skated up to him and took his hand and held it and didn't let go. I think it threw him for a loop, but he stayed outwardly cool about it, and we were just skating around holding hands. We were officially going out just past the turn of the new year. I was so happy. I was in love. He was my first love, and I was elated. Not long at all after we started going out, he told me that he had a tumor, and he was going to have an operation to remove it. Needless to say, I was horrified. How could this be? There are over 30 diary entries written between January of 1990 and October of 1992. I detailed the whole 2 years of Sid as he tried to fight against a rare form of cancer and ultimately lost his battle. To be a bit morbid and a bit cynical, those 2 years of pain-filled entries could have been the story a lot of people would have wanted. Right there. It had everything, really. All the highs and the lowest of the lows. The terrible beginning, shocking, frightening, yet filled with young hope and determination. The arc in the middle where things seem to be going so well, and everything may just turn out all right. And then the crash and the return of the disease, but this time with a vengeance. A friend who was losing his fight with cancer, and a young girl who was trying to finish her last 2 years of high school and not lose her mind. A girl who was 20 years old when he passed, shattered and utterly lost. So when I started writing all of this down, I did not want to face this chapter. If you have remembered, I alluded earlier on to a full circle moment in my life when I mentioned that I had to bring Hubs to that hospital on Hamilton Mountain to get his miracle surgery many years later. I couldn't believe it was that hospital. It was that hospital where I had sat with Sid while he got his chemotherapy treatment, a place I had fervently hoped I would never, ever have to return to again. I wrote it all out, every entry from my diary. I thought, well, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to just lay it all out, or purge it all out, really. So I wrote it all out, and I read it all over many times, and I shed many tears. And when I finished writing my book, I put it all aside and felt it was complete. And then something happened as I was working my way through to tell you this whole little tale. I got to this part of my life, chapter 19, and I was stuck. I was stopped. I'd been flowing along, and suddenly one of the most epic roadblocks of my life dropped down. I couldn't do it. I couldn't tell this part of the story the same way anymore. Time had passed since I had first written it all out. Time had passed, and I had changed. And how I had written it was no longer right. I had to find another way. This was a period of my life that was filled with tremendous stress, suffering, agony, fear, sadness, and pain. This is a chapter of my life that haunted me for an entire decade, pretty much. And I reckon that was more than long enough. And I could not stop thinking about Sid's family, and especially his mother. I can't tell this story without acknowledging this part of my life because it was pivotal. It affected me deeply. I lost nearly a decade of my life to it in many ways. But 20-year-old Karen doesn't want to relive all those awful details anymore. And the Karen I am right now has no interest in causing his family any new pain. I am a mother, and I would never want to cause my friend's mother any pain from laying all that happened out again. Imagine how she would feel. Imagine how his family would feel. I can't tell this story without this chapter of my life, but I can't let it take center stage anymore. And I will not let it be my whole story. I'm going to keep it moving. I have things I want to do now, and I need to at last be here for me. And I am. And I don't want this to be a competition. This is not top this anymore. Was it? Yes, in some ways it was. Because if we go through terrible pain and awful situations, In some ways, we want to hold that pain up like a trophy. At the time of writing this chapter out initially, I wanted to put it all out there. It was all there. I had documented it meticulously. 2 harrowing, heartbreaking years, and my need to fix it, to save him, and still go to high school and walk those halls while carrying my books and binders, as well as a load I wish no one, no child, ever had to carry. But they do. Sadly, they do. And sometimes a long time ago, my agony and desperation led me to places and into the arms of people who were not very good, and it made me very ashamed of myself, and worse off than I already was. They don't get to have a place on my stage. And as I was writing it all out, there was a part of me that was like, there, now everyone will see. Now they'll see what I went through. And then I thought I would have been able to, and entitled to, hold this part of my life up as a prize. We want to do that, don't we? We want to hold on to what hurt us. We should hold ourselves up as the prize. Ourselves who we never gave up on. Ourselves who overcame. Ourselves who went through darkness and came out the other fucking side. This happened. And this is what I went through. And I claim no special merit because there is someone out there who has gone through something they did not deserve. And someone out there who wants to say, oh, you went through that? Well, big deal. You should hear what I went through. And there are people, and they are still going through things they would never choose for themselves. And the point is, we are all in this together. Yes. Unfair things happen to people while it seems like others breeze through life. Is that accurate? Probably not, because any of us can be trapped within our own minds, our own hurt hearts, our own deep, deep desires for love, compassion, empathy, understanding, connection. So, 20-year-old Karen doesn't want to hold on to all those awful details anymore. And the Karen I am right now? Well, I am a mother, and I have no interest in causing his family any pain. 20-year-old Karen has a wild idea. Instead of those diary entries, how about we all hold space for each other? Right here, right now. As hippy-dippy as that sounds, that's what I am going to do. Hold space right here for me, for you, for everyone out there who is hurting. I love you. I believe in you. Keep going.